The overhead lights buzzed faintly in the quiet aisles of Greenwood Market as Ethan Cole reached for a box of bran cereal. It was nearly 6:30 p.m. on a drizzly Friday evening, and he liked it best when the store was almost empty. Fewer eyes, less noise. His 8-year-old daughter, Lena, stood beside him, still wearing her school backpack, boots a little muddy from recess. "Can we get the kind with chocolate bits instead?" she asked, hopeful. Then the bell above the front door chimed. Everything shattered. Everyone on the ground. Now, the command cracked like lightning through the narrow aisles. A masked man holding a pistol stood framed by the sliding glass doors. Milk bottles crashed. A shopping cart tipped. Somewhere, a baby started to scream. Ethan's hand didn't tremble. His fingers rested calmly on the cereal box. Across 3 aisles of chaos, Lena stood frozen, her backpack clutched tightly to her chest. "Daddy." He raised a single finger to his lips. Not a twitch. Not a blink. Stillness in the storm. And in the shadows near the produce section, a woman in a fitted navy blazer was watching him. She didn't scream. Didn't cower. Her sharp slate-gray eyes locked onto Ethan with something that looked disturbingly like recognition. The gunman's ski mask was soaked in sweat. His voice cracked as he shouted, "Open the register." Now, Ethan's gaze never left him. The trembling in the man's hand. The staggered breathing. The loose grip. Not a professional. Not a killer. Desperate. Scared. Ethan had seen real killers in Fallujah. At the register, a teen cashier, tall, acne-covered, hands like birds, fumbled with the keys. I can't get it open." The robber cursed. "Step forward." His sneakers squeaked on the floor tiles. Ethan shifted slightly, stepping in front of Lena's line of sight. 3 years out of the service, but instincts were muscle deep. He could feel it building, the panic. The bad decisions waiting to happen. And still, the woman in the navy suit didn't move. Too calm. Too centered. Who the hell was she? The robber swung his pistol in an arc. Nobody moves. Ethan did the math. 5 yards. 2 exits. 1 blind spot behind a freezer aisle. Lena's breath was ragged, shallow. She was afraid, but holding it together, just like he'd taught her in their little what-if drills at home. Then Ethan stepped forward. Slowly. No sudden moves. Just deliberate motion, like dismantling a landmine. The gun whipped toward him. "I said don't move." But something in Ethan's eyes, quiet, cold, made the words stall in the robber's throat. Ethan's voice was soft. "Look at your hands, son." The man blinked. His grip was weak. Finger wasn't even near the trigger. "Walk away. Right now. This doesn't have to get worse." A tremor passed through the robber's body. He saw something in Ethan's eyes, violence wrapped in discipline. And that's when the woman in the suit moved. Stepped in front of the exit with the precise rhythm of someone trained to neutralize threats. Trapped, the robber panicked. Bolted for the back door. Knocked over a chip display in his rush to flee. Sirens wailed in the distance. Lena ran to Ethan, burying her face in his shirt. "Daddy, how did you know?" Ethan stroked her hair. "Sometimes, you just know." But over her head, his gaze met the woman's. She was still watching him. Closely. Too closely. Police lights painted the market's windows red and blue. Detective Luis Navarro interviewed witnesses while paramedics handed out blankets. Ethan kept his story short. Nothing about his past. Just a father trying to keep his daughter safe. The woman spoke briefly to Navarro, then approached. Up close, she looked mid-40s. Platinum hair in a perfect bun. Her suit probably cost more than Ethan's truck. She extended her hand. Mara Kingsley. Her handshake was firm. A faint callus across her palm. "Ethan Cole. You handle that like someone who's seen combat," she said. He said nothing. "I run a private security firm," she continued. "We look for people like you. People who keep their heads when others can't." She glanced at Lena, now coloring quietly near the store window. Single parent. His jaw tensed. "My wife died 3 years ago. Car accident." Mara's expression softened. Either real sympathy or a good imitation. "I'm sorry." Lena tugged on his sleeve. "Can we go home now, Daddy? I have a science quiz tomorrow." He nodded. "Of course, baby." Mara handed him a black card. Artemis Risk Management. Gold embossed. Weighty. If you ever want to do something more, she said, we could use a man like you. Ethan looked at the card. I'm good fixing leaky faucets and replacing toilets. Think about it. She smiled. People like you aren't meant to disappear. Their house on Cedar Lane looked like every other in Woodlake, Ohio. White siding, modest porch, quiet street. No cornflakes tonight. He'd have to go back tomorrow. The scent of vanilla still clung to the house. His wife's candles had soaked the walls. Lena did her homework at the table while he reheated leftovers. Daddy, why weren't you scared? Ethan hesitated. How do you explain to an 8-year-old that fear doesn't vanish, just goes quiet? That violence becomes part of you if you're not careful. I was scared, he said. But sometimes when you're scared, you have to be braver. It wasn't the whole truth, but it was enough. Later that night, with Lena asleep, Ethan sat on the back steps, laptop open beside a beer. Mara's card glinted in the moonlight. He looked up her company. Government contracts, corporate security, multi-state offices. Her bio listed Georgetown, D.C. think tanks, former intelligence consultancy. Everything about it felt rehearsed. Too smooth. The scent of firewood drifted from a neighbor's chimney. A normal night, but something had been stirred. The comm he'd built, one plumbing job at a time, was cracking. Not with memories of war, but with questions. He dialed a number he hadn't used in a year. After 3 rings, Cole. Been a while. Hey, Vince, Ethan said. What do you know about Artemis Risk Management? There was a pause. Ice clinked in a glass. Fancy outfit. Real money. Real reach. Why? Ethan told him about the grocery store. Mara's offer. You stay out of that world, brother, Vince said. They don't come looking unless they need someone to do the kind of work that doesn't make the news. Ethan looked at the card again. Black, clean, heavy. Appreciate it. How's Lena? She's good. Keep her that way. Whatever Artemis is offering, it's not worth the cost. Ethan hung up and stared into the darkness. The card sat like a loaded pistol next to his beer. And for the first time in 3 years, he didn't feel like a plumber anymore. He felt like a weapon someone wanted to use. Monday morning arrived wrapped in rain. Ethan dropped Lena off at Woodlake Elementary, gave her the usual fist bump, then drove to his first job. Mrs. Nakamura's kitchen sink again, probably roots in the main drain. She answered the door in a floral robe, eyes sharp behind thick glasses. No more patchwork. This time you fix for good. Depends if you're ready to pay for good. She squinted. You charge less than the idiots before. You can have tea. Ethan smirked. He liked her. Halfway through replacing a corroded pipe, he noticed the black BMW pulling into the driveway. Mara Kingsley stepped out. Even in the drizzle, her tailored coat was spotless. Who's that? Mrs. Nakamura asked. She's selling something. Before Ethan could answer, his phone buzzed. Unknown number. This is Ethan. Mr. Cole, it's Mara Kingsley. I like to talk. I told you. I just want one coffee. No strings. The Morning Bean on Mill Street. Say it too. He hesitated, then surprised himself. Fine. He arrived at 2 o'clock sharp. Mara was already seated, jeans and a sweater replacing her usual armor. She'd chosen a booth with clear views of both exits. Train. I got you black coffee, she said. Hope that's okay. Ethan slid in. Let's skip the pleasantries. Mara leaned forward. Tell me about your service. Ethan's face froze. Who says I served? Your posture. Your eyes. That moment in the store. Only someone who's seen real combat stays that calm. Rangers. Toot tours. Thank you for your service. He didn't reply. I want you to use those skills again. In a different way. I'm not a mercenary. Neither am I. She slid a manila folder across the table. The Delacroix family. Judge Eldon Delacroix, wife Danielle, 2 kids, ages 9 and 13. They've received threats. Specific ones. Routines. School schedules. Restaurants. Ethan opened the file. Printed letters. Surveillance photos. Too detailed. Professional, he muttered. Someone's building a profile. Exactly. I need someone who can analyze their blind spots. Ethan pushed the folder back. Find someone else. Mara didn't flinch. There's something else. Delacroix once presided over a case. Ronald Trask versus State of New York. Ethan's jaw twitched. Trask was a quiet CPA. Clean record. Until he wasn't. They made him a scapegoat, she continued. The judge saw to that. Her voice lowered. He died in prison last year. Heart attack. Left 2 kids in the foster system. Ethan's blood went cold. You seem invested in this. I make it my business to expose abuse of power. But Ethan saw something deeper. Personal. Very personal. He left the cafe with the file. Told her he'd think about it. That night, after Lena went to bed, he researched the Trask case. It was worse than Mara said. Fabricated evidence. Witnesses with plea deals. Trask's wife's suicide. Daughter and son both disappeared into the system. It gnawed at Ethan, especially when he looked at Mara's profile again. Something about her story didn't check out. He ran her photo through old forums and obscure facial recognition APIs. Eventually, a match, Leah Trask, missing since 2008. She wasn't protecting the Delacroix family. She was targeting them. The next day, Mara called again. I know what you found. You should have been honest. Would you have listened? He didn't answer. Let me show you why I'm doing this. Ethan met her at an old warehouse near the edge of town. Inside, she laid it all out. Her real name. Her father. The fake identity. The shell company she built. The ledger her father kept. I tracked it down. It implicates Delacroix. And others. You want revenge. I want justice. No, Ethan said. Justice doesn't kidnap people. Revenge does. Mara looked away. I'm not a killer. Then stay that way. 2 days later, Lena didn't come home from school. A call from the principal. She was picked up early by a woman named Mara Kingsley. She had ID. Was on your approved list. Ethan's heart stopped. He stormed out of the house, already dialing. Mara picked up. I didn't take her. Where is she? I swear, Ethan, this wasn't me. Then a text buzzed through. Unknown number, we have the girl. Pier 9. Come alone. A photo followed. Lena holding a newspaper. Tear streaked. Alive? Ethan's war instincts surged to the surface. He called Vince. Meet me at Pier 9. Bring everything. I'll be there in 30. He looked at Mara. If she's hurt. She won't be, she said. They want me. Not her. They went together. Pier 9, an abandoned shipping yard. Perfect for an ambush. Ethan parked 3 blocks away. I go in first, he told Mara. 5 minutes later, you walk in. They'll expect that. Inside, he ghosted between crates and shadows. 4 men. 1 patrolling outside. 2 inside. 1 pacing near Lena, tied to a chair. Ethan neutralized the perimeter guard with a silent choke. Inside, he moved like a shadow. The man near Lena didn't see the blow coming. She didn't scream, just nodded. Brave, like he'd taught her. Stay down, he whispered, cutting her ties. He gave her a small backup pistol. Only if you absolutely have to. Then the door opened. Mara walked in. The 2 inside, Murphy and Griggs, old names from her father's case, reacted instantly. You brought company, Murphy growled. I brought proof, she said. The ledger. I have it. Where's the plumber? Griggs sneered. Watching, Mara said. Like he always is. It was enough of a distraction. Ethan burst from the shadows, tackled Griggs, disarmed him in a fluid motion. Mara ducked. Murphy turned his pistol toward her until Ethan's punch sent him sprawling. Gunfire erupted. Backup arrived, private security, not cops. Likely sent by Delacroix himself to clean up loose ends. In the chaos, they escaped with Lena and the ledger. That night, in a cabin Ethan used during rough years, they regrouped. Vince brought in food. Lena slept soundly, finally safe. Mara sat across from Ethan at the kitchen table, her lips split, eyes hollow. I never wanted to hurt her, she said. You almost did. I thought I could walk the line, she whispered. Between justice and vengeance. I was wrong. Ethan studied her for a long moment. You can still choose. I want to. I just don't know how. He looked toward the room where Lena slept. One day at a time. They leaked everything. The ledger, scanned and digitized. Trask's ledgers detailed names, accounts, wire routes, including Judge Delacroix, Senator Prescott, and several high-level law enforcement officers. Ethan coordinated with Detective Navarro, who'd been building a quiet case for years. By the next afternoon, headlines exploded. Federal judge implicated in criminal network. CEO of Artemis unmasked as daughter of whistleblower. Trask ledger rocks Capitol Hill. Prescott was arrested in a midnight raid. Delacroix tried to flee. Didn't make it far. Murphy testified from a federal cell, exchanging evidence for protection. 6 months later, Ethan stood in Mrs. Nakamura's kitchen, fixing her faucet. You work better now, she noted. No more ghost in your eyes. He smirked. You always know how to compliment a guy. You bring your lady helper again. He turned. Mara stood in the doorway, jeans in a ponytail replacing her executive polish. I'm learning plumbing, she said. Not afraid to get dirty? Not anymore. Lena burst into the room, a wrench in hand. Miss Mara, want to help me with the sink? Mara smiled. I was hoping you'd ask. Ethan leaned against the counter and watched them. The soldier in him would always be there. The man with ghosts. The man who lost. But for the first time in years, he wasn't just surviving. He was rebuilding. And sometimes that was enough.